Mandle Rousseau, owner and creative director of Control Freq. Welcome on the Business Brief.
Thanks, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm happy to have you. Mandle, Control Freq is a minority-owned and operated service provider of smart solutions for homes and offices. How's business, and where are you seeing the greatest demand for smart solutions in both the home and commercial markets?
Well, Ryan, as you know, there's been a lot of pent-up energy. People have been locked away in their homes during this time of COVID. And so people are now starting to get out and spend. And having been in the homes, people have seen some of the things that the home is lacking. And so we're able to come into this space and provide those solutions now more than ever, especially in the home side. Also on the the commercial side of things, there is a big boom in commercial, especially in the Denver metro area. So there's a lot of construction going on, and new construction, we're also in that space as well.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that actually, how so many people have been home for so long that, yeah, they're probably looking around their homes thinking I can make that improvement or this improvement, or I'd like to have this at home. That's an interesting perspective. I think we've all had a lot more time to think about what we want to kind of upgrade our homes, let alone the office space. Now, Mandle, according to Valuate's report, a market research firm, the global market for home automation systems is projected to rise from $48 billion in 2020 to over $92 billion in 2027, with entertainment controls expected to be the largest part of the market. But you're emphasizing lighting controls. Why?
Well, entertainment is a given in the space. I think a lot of people, they're familiar with TVs and music. Lighting control, however, is something that really has been gaining traction over the years. If you think about the light switch, it's just been a simple on-off switch for so many years now. And now with lighting control, we're able to really tap in on what the lighting designers are doing in a space by shaping the space. And so instead of just going around and switching lights on and off one at a time, you can now shape the space with the light. As with a touch of a button, you can create different scenes and different ambiance so that your space is now more of a space that you can live in and move through and enjoy the architecture of the space with that lighting. And a lot of times people overlook the convenience of the lighting control as well. When you're getting ready to go to sleep at night, you don't have to worry about whether you left the light on down in the basement somewhere. You can simply reach over, push a button, and have all the lights go out. And so it's convenient. It's also energy efficient. And then what we didn't talk about is we didn't talk about health and wellness. That's really becoming big in the space. So with health and wellness, the body operates on what's called a circadian rhythm. And so with that circadian rhythm, there's a time clock that your body actually, it's in response to the movement of the sun. And as that sun moves across the sky, the temperature changes. And so the lighting temperature in your house can adjust the same way with that circadian rhythm with lighting control, and it helps regulate the body's sleep cycle. And so you can be more productive, and it adds to the overall well-being of health. So the other thing I didn't touch on is safety. And so a lot of times, people are coming into their homes at night or entering into this dark space, and they have to reach for a switch and not knowing what's going on. And so with proximity sensors and that sort of thing, you can have a well-lit and safe space as you arrive to your home.
Now, voice controls seem to be increasingly popular, whether it be your remote control or other devices in the home. If you have an Alexa or a Google Home device, where is the industry headed with that?
Well, I think the industry is it's really relatively new. And so as we move into the future of things, we're wanting to integrate a little bit more naturally with our environments. And so voice control and speaking to make these commands happen is becoming more and more popular. There's still a lot of work to do, but we have technologies available where we can have natural language speech versus, you know, what you mentioned, or I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but it came to mind with Google and Alexa. Um, that technology is still a little clunky. You have to say certain things, and it's not always responding the way that you want it to respond. But again, that natural language control is where we're after. And so we also talk about mobility issues. There's people with mobility issues that can't necessarily reach out and touch things and make these things happen. And so it becomes also an advantage to use when you don't have those things available to you. So you can now use your voice to interact with the space. So
Fascinating.
really
It's just really fascinating. And I can see going hand in hand with all of these things, whether it be entertainment or whether it be lighting, is voice, right? Being able to speak it, if you will, into existence in terms of what you want or need at the moment. So I definitely think this is going to be a big part of that $92 billion market by 2027. All right, Mandel, there's a lot of talk about supplier diversity by both companies, big companies, as well as governments. What's your experience been like as a minority owned company in engaging with large contractors in the home and commercial space here in Colorado?
Well, I'll tell you, Ryan, that's an excellent question. I know it was important for us to get our minority business certifications here in the city. And that was an arduous process. We went through that process and got that certification. And so we were looking forward to some of these larger commercial projects that are out there. And the challenge, I think, a lot of times in business is relationships. And so essentially what happens is you've got these large builders that have been doing business for years, and they're associating with those people that are familiar to them. And so unfortunately, we haven't been in the space as minorities to get to build those relationships. And so I can't say that it's, you know, necessarily something that's obsidious, but I think what happens is we're just oftentimes not given that opportunity. And so in this space, what I've found is that we just did a job at the airport for Southwest Airlines. Our crew out there did an excellent job, and so it was a challenge getting in with those guys. And so now the challenge is getting to the next contract. So we're interested in the work. We have the ability to do the work in an excellent manner. And so really we're looking to those opportunities to get in the door and do that work.
Absolutely. You know, actions speak louder than words, Mandel, as you know. And so for all these governments and large contractors and companies who say they're committed to supplier diversity as a part of their long-term plans, as a part of their sustainability plans, are going to really have to show where the rubber hits the road with respect to engaging with minority contractors in your space and others, whether it be tech, whether it be other janitorial services, whether it be a number and range of products that people are offering who happen to be women and minority owned suppliers. I'm wishing you, Mandel, the very best with your growth in the months and years ahead. Mandle Rousseau with Control Freq. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. And if anybody is out there in this space and they're looking for excellent work in this industry, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.